What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray. And this is Gray Area Anime. And we got a special one. We haven't done this in a while. We've been leaning heavy to the episode breakdowns, and I want to get back to the roots of why I started this podcast, which is to introduce you guys to the medium and give you things that you can watch that you will also enjoy, because I think that it can be enjoyed by more people than what it's being enjoyed by. So I want to do all I can to help noobs and vets alike understand anime. So today we're going to be doing Teach Me Senpai, and I've brought back my favorite person in the world outside of my wife and the god, Bible Study Girl.
Hello. Hi, guys.
you wanted to do your hello.
I did. Because that is how I say hello.
It is.
I was just.
Yeah. And what we've done today is we both sat and watched a new anime that I have not watched and she has not watched. Ascendance of a Bookworm is the name of it. Now, my sister is the definition of a literal bookworm.
I am. Give me a good book. I'm going to munch it up.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to ask me some questions. I don't know a lot because I haven't watched the series, but I know enough about anime to kind of fill in some gaps where I can.
Okay, a lot of times you talk to me like mama talks to me about things that happen in the OR, or she uses OR terms that I don't really understand. So while we were watching it, you said this is probably a...
Oh, I told what I said. This is probably an isekai. Isekai means life in another world.
Okay.
In general. So it's the Matrix. Whenever you think of the Matrix and how they were... Everybody thought they existed in this world. That's the general premise of it.
Okay.
So in this one, the main character is a young girl by the name of Mine. Mm-hmm. Spelled Maine.
But it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's been reincarnated. I can't think of the actual girl's name. I should have wrote it down, but it doesn't really matter because it's gonna be Mine. That's who we're gonna be with. So she died in a previous life. She had aspirations of being a librarian. She had just graduated from college, and she had an unfortunate accident. I actually think books fell on her.
All the books. She was in the library with all the books, and she's walking by, and all the books fall on her. Yeah. And as she's dying,
she makes a prayer.
Yeah, she's like, please, God, just in my next life, let me be able to read all the books. I want books.
And so she wakes up in the bottle of this little golden-eyed, blue-haired girl who's probably 4.
Yeah, she's
maybe 5.
tiny.
5 or maybe 5 or 6.
She's so small she can't even reach the handle of the door. She's tiny.
And when she wakes up, she's still with the memories of her past life. So she's not knowing where she is or anything like that. And the lady enters the room. She can't understand what she's saying. And there's like this moment where her head kind of hurts a little bit, but she gets the shake of memory. She's like, I'm feeling somebody else's memories. And to which she instantly recognizes that this person is her mom. And she instantly recognizes, but this isn't right.
Right, because I know who my mom is, and but the memories that come back show her, okay, well, this is your mom, and then she's looking in her hands, and she's like, are these my hands? She went from a grown lady to little 4-year-old teeny tiny hands, and while the memories are flooding her mind, she falls back out on the bed because she's like, I can't believe this. So her mom is like, are you mine? Are you okay? Oh, like,
are you fine? And then she has this moment within herself where she's like, okay, I understand that I died. I understand that I won't be able to see my mom again, but I'll be fine if I just have my books.
As long as I have my books, I will be okay, because that's what she asked for as she was dying.
And the next moment, her sister walks in. Because again, she has these moments where these people walk in, she's like, who? And then it like hits her with the memory, whatever reincarnation stuff that they'll never explain. I was trying to explain it to her. Like, they don't go in depth with that kind of stuff unless it's pivotal.
Right.
Majority of the pivotal part is like, she wants to read books. How's she going to do it?
Right.
So any other questions that you may have from what you watched?
No, not from that.
Oh, I forgot about one pivotal part. So the beginning of this episode, or the beginning of this, is she's with somebody. He's like a magician.
Yes, that is how the show opened. But I got the show opened with her with a book in her hand.
Yeah,
she's reading. She's still the tiny girl.
She's still tiny.
She's the tiny girl, but she's reading, and the magician like has a headband.
Hey, I have this thing. She's like, what is it? She's like, it's a magical. He told her it's a magical tool, and she's like, okay, but what is it used for? And he
puts it on her head,
and she falls asleep. And he's like, I don't know why she's like, she reads these books.
Yeah, he's like, she's so into books. I need to find out
what happened in her past,
what goes on in her mind. Yes.
And so he connected, and then
he puts on a matching headband that allows him to see into her past, and that is how we find out she is.
Yeah, we get her backstory, and we don't know if that. We really don't even know if that's what he's watching. We just presume it to be so.
Yeah,
and it's pretty conclusive that it might be, though.
And so I'm interested to see how she goes, how we get to the point where she's with this guy, this magician. And able to read
books and everything, or sorcerer, warlock, whatever he's going to be.
Whatever he's going to be. So
it's a medieval style world. So basically, she went from modern to medieval. Like they live in. You think it's like a hut house.
Because you don't see the outside. You see her in the bedroom.
Yeah, and you see no windows.
You see no windows. It seemed pretty spacious to me because they had like a storeroom. They had the little kitchen.
Yeah.
Looked like there were maybe 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So it seems pretty spacious, but it's like you don't know. And I think I love that. That's part of the mystery. Where is she? Because when she wakes up, and when she finally realizes, okay, this is my new world, this is my new home, I can survive anything as long as I have books.
I can do anything.
Right. And I think that's when I really realized how tiny she was in her search for these books and the way that they talk to her. Yeah. That's when you realize, okay, she's
like, and it wasn't until she and her mom go shopping because she's like, okay, if I can get out here, I can find books.
Right.
And she already she's like a lot like my sister. She was like, I have my plan on how I'm going to get the book. And we're going to, I'm going to tell her, hey, I'll clean up all day. Just give me a book. It'll get me through all day.
Yeah, it'll get me through all this. And so we finally get to see the outside of this home.
Yeah.
They go out the door. There's steps down. And she's a tiny little 4-year-old girl. She freaks like
oh, these are smelly and stinky. She is bougie. She literally steps down, and I thought she stepped on something wet, but she just stepped on dust.
Yeah, and
she was like, "Oh my god, no! What is this?" And her mom picks her up on her back because what me and Three Deaths of Minds, because there's a lot of things I don't have to explain about plot. I don't have to do plot devices. That's one thing I don't have to do. I just have to explain the connecting points to the plot device for you in most things. So with this one, we quickly surmised that maybe mine died.
She had to have died, and then she
reincarnated.
And she was reincarnated as mine. Mine is very frail and fragile, and you can tell because her mom, she freaks out when she sees the steps, and her mom is like, "I know you can't do this." She has a special wrap that she uses to carry her around because she's used to, and the lady in her head is like, okay, I really can do this, but I'm guessing
this is what they do. She had a whole moment where she realized this dad person puts on my clothes,
right?
This sister girl wants to wash my back, and I finally let her, which she was weirded out by when I finally let her do it.
She's like she's a frail girl. She's taking on the body of a frail girl, but inside, she's so strong and she really can do it, because she, like, one of the first things she does is finds a way to open the door on her own. She doesn't need help or assistance. No one is around. She gets it done.
And then just sulks around the house looking for books, like
no books anywhere. No books. So I thought it was great. I like that they built up the suspense and that we really didn't know what kind of world it is. And we're learning as she's learning. And I love that we're all figuring it out together. That's like a very cool part of the show. Something I really, really love.
But any questions?
No, because
this one was kind of like, and we really like, because I haven't watched it.
Right.
I don't even have all the.
But I like that. I like that about it because it makes it more of I think it gives you better perspective of where I'm coming from.
Oh, yeah.
With like, I don't know. And also you don't, because a lot of times when you do know what happens, you give like, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I will say that on the other, and you don't, there's not that with this. So I love that together we can learn. Are sorcerers, like, are they a frequent, because you went right to sorcerer, but that's not where my mind went. Is that a frequent theme in anime? Is it?
It's like everything is there. Like Game of Thrones is a standard type of thing.
World, yeah.
Like, the medieval setting with dragons and betrayal and all these things. Like, it's not new in anime. It's new when people do them right for us in terms of things that we'll watch, like from Xena to Hercules or whatever to this. But this kind of story, like, it's literally so formulaic for them. So you go isekai, and then you say, well, what do I want this isekai to be about? Do I want somebody to go from zero to hero? Do I want you to go from you were a sleazeball guy to now you're a girl and you have to understand how women think? Like, there's all these different archetypes. Initially, like, you can tell, like, when you go medieval, and the start of it is like, okay, so they understand magic and some other things, at least from that is what I surmised. But I don't know. I just went sorcerer because, like, they'll probably have a word for him. Like, he's probably a mage. I don't want to say sorcerer, but he's probably a mage. Okay. Because it's medieval, so I have to think mage, magic, blah, blah, blah.
See, I do have questions about anime, but I think they'll be more appropriate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this particular one, I was drawn to it because, I'm a bookworm. I love books. And I wanted to see, like, what could this possibly be about? And it's so interesting to see her in the market because she's still, part of her search in the apartment was, okay, even if I don't have books, is there literally any word that I can see in this house just to know I just need to read something?
Yeah, she had a panic attack because she was like, do they not have a writing system?
Yes.
Do they just not write? And it's not until they get to the market where she sees the prices where they're not on paper, they're like carved into wood. And so she's like, Mom, what is that? Yeah. What does this say? She, she's like, well, that's, it's 20 lien, which is the currency, I guess. And then she goes, okay, she instantly figures out, this is how your
mom is like, works. This is 20 lin, this is 23 lins. Okay. And she's like, so is that 30 lin right there? And her mom is like, wow, mine, you are so smart. Where do you get this? So we can also tell that she comes from a much more modern time because when they're when her mom is carrying her through the market, there is a stench that overwhelms her. And she's like, where is this stench? What am I smelling? Where is this coming from? And
she turns around and there are a line of chickens that have been, defeathered and heads chopped off, ready for cooking. Like, go ahead and take them all. And she looks and she's like, oh no, those are birds. And then she turns around and the butcher or whoever it is has the chicken and he's ready to chop the head off.
And she promptly passes.
She's like, nah, fam, it's too much. I can't deal.
I cannot deal with it.
When she wakes up, she's like, I really can't do this. And her mom's like, oh man, we still had shopping to do today. Like, I can't like go home now. And she's like, she turns into what I call, like, she literally turns into my sister. She's like, all right, I got a plan. I'm a grown person. in a small person,
tiny body.
In a tiny body. Hey, mister, can I stay here for a while? She walks up, well, she says it's a miss. Because she walks over to the shop and she's talking to the lady and asking her, can she stay here for a little while? I won't be in any trouble. I just need somewhere to wait so my mom can be able to shop, basically.
Yeah, she's like, I just didn't feel well.
I'm like, oh, she's so polite.
She's,
of course.
Yeah.
Got her husband comes on like, of course, you can stay inside. You don't have to sit over there. You can stay inside. And it's a small aside, but it also shows, again, what time you're in. The guy's like, yeah, if she stays inside, nobody kidnap her. And I was like,
if we put her in the back here, no one will kidnap her. She's safe with us.
The chances are low.
Yeah, and the mom is like, "You're sure? Don't go anywhere, baby. Like, mommy's gonna come back."
She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. We'll be good."
Like because she's a grown woman in a little child's body.
And so she goes in, and the big part is she finally sees it.
Oh, the treasure! Because walking through town, those prices are the first.
Literally anything that she saw that was like
everything
reading.
Else was pictures. They had pictures for this is this kind of store, you know.
Yeah.
So she's starving for books.
And she sees it words. And the guy's sitting there and she's like, hey, sir. Hey,
listen.
Is that a book?
No, she says, what is this?
Oh, what is this? And he's like,
she doesn't show her hand. She doesn't show that she's a grown woman that
oh yeah, because she shouldn't. He's like, it's a book. And at the beginning, they also foreshadowed this subtly.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about like a time that I would not have any recollection of, and no one would that is living now, of when the printing press was not a thing and books were rare.
Right.
I can imagine that it was more like the Book of Eli with people trying to get the Bible back in the day.
It was, because that's handwritten. We're handwriting this to share.
Like, yeah. Whew.
Also, the Bible wasn't what it is today.
No.
It still is a lot.
Still. Like,
it's a lot.
Sharing.
When's the last time
letters.
you hand wrote? Like
I handwrite and read. Oh, a long?
Like a long. Can you imagine handwriting a book? I don't handwrite.
I used to want to.
I don't handwrite my blog. I type it. The thought of handwriting it every day and imagining me having to handwrite 4 or 5 or 6 of them to share it around when you write or when you type. Me too. Everyone is.
Like, and it's just like a thing where in my head I'm like, no. I can proofread my thoughts easier typing them out than writing them out, because like having to go through and erase and all that stuff is
just not.
Yeah. Like I backspace, copy, delete this whole sentence.
But she was coming from a time where they had a printing press, and so
yeah, it was like modern, probably modern Japan, I want to say.
Yeah, because a whole library of books fell on her off a shelf to kill her. So books weren't rare. They were widely.
So she asked the man, and he basically then explains to her that they're rare. This is like nobility type. Like only nobility has books because they have enough money to buy them.
Yes, and you have to. This is a luxury. These books are handwritten and copied, so no, people don't have books. This book, her object, the object of her desire, is right there, kind of within her grasp, but she's too short to reach it in the cabinet that is locked up in.
Yeah, and she she's like, okay. She prostrates herself, which is laying your, basically bowing down in the most apologetic way. It is the biggest sign of like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm begging you that you can do in Japan, period. Like it's literal, like I am sorry. I am basically showing myself to be not lower than you, but apologetic.
I'm as humble as I can
yes.
be. I can't get any more humble. I can't get any
lower. Like I am at the earth and at your feet and showing you that I'm at your mercy. Let me hold it. Just let me hold the book. And he instantly knows, he's like, something about letting you hold this book just doesn't sit right with me. I can't do that.
Yeah, he's like, even you touching the page is.
It just doesn't seem like it's a good idea. It
doesn't sit well with me. Doesn't sit well.
And so he just moves on. She's like, okay. And then I think by the end of it, she decides, I don't know if she decides she's going to write books.
She's going to make them.
She's
going to make them is what she says. She's sitting at the table eating dinner with her family, and she's processing this in her grown woman brain, little body, woman brain. She's going over it in her head, and she gets so excited when she comes to the realization that hey, they don't have books, but I can make them. So she says it out loud. I'm going to make one.
She's like,
and of
what are you talking
course,
about?
everybody at the table is like, what? Like, what are you gonna make? She's oh nothing. Like she has to go back into humble little girl. I'm not a grown woman. Yeah.
And she retreats. And this is like a typical thing with the isekais that I was telling you about earlier, at least for this genre. So there's the genre where you come with your entire, it's basically like, when they ask you, would you rather be 10 years old with all the knowledge that you have or 45 years old with $10 million or whatever. And so that's what they do. It's like you put people in these situations, but sometimes they come with incredible talents. So there's one where like there's these high school students that were the best at whatever their field was, economics or whatever. And so they go to this world and they like generally just start changing everything because it's a lower impoverished world. And that's the kind of scenarios that you can see from these types of anime. Like what would it be like to be a millionaire in an impoverished area, or what would it be like to be, and this is a bad example, but I'm using the example in a sense, what would it be like to be Hitler and not do the bad things that Hitler did?
Right.
Like to change, people's perception of you. And that's kind of how they use those in a way of kind of like building up. Like this is a funny collision of if you had the knowledge that you have today about, getting to electricity and solar power, all of these different things, how could you have used them differently? And that's how they set up these different premises, which I'm always a big fan of.
I'm a big fan of it. This was a good show. Very, very good. It was very, very interesting. It kept me intrigued. And like I said, I'm going on the journey with her. Yeah. So I don't have any extra knowledge that I can pull from. It really is a discovery for mine and the viewer. And I like that.
Is it also more enjoyable because you read fast, so subtitles are not going to be an issue for you?
Correct.
So I feel like you read in your brain, like it's almost like them talking. Like you read so fast, which you do, that you're able to read it, then listen to them, and you're almost like mine. Seriously, like you could probably because she was over here, they'd be like, I don't remember what they would say, but I'm gonna say the words I know. It'd be like itadakimasu, and she'd be like itadakimasu, and she's repeating like, I already know what that means. When I hear that, ding, 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 I know that. Whatever.
She's putting the pieces together. Maybe this is 4-year-old Bible study girl that I'm watching grow and ascend. I could see some similarities. I was reading it for.
Oh yeah, you were definitely
I was reading it for, loving it because, like this little girl, mine, I had to know what are these figures? These are letters? Okay. What do these letters say? There was not a sign that they could drive by that I didn't say, what does that say? What does that say? What does that say? I needed to know. Like my inquisitiveness was pushing me and driving me. What's
funny about that is I think you were in such an overdrive of it that it became passive for me. Like it's aggressive for me to because once I did and actually apply myself, oh no, the rest of that stuff, I ain't got to ask you. I'm just going to start do. Like it just falls into place. Mm-hmm. Like you're the wealth of knowledge. I'm the okay, it's quick. Boom, 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 boom. I wouldn't
say I'm a wealth of knowledge. I would say
in terms of book reading, the way you read,
I do love the books. I'm passionate about it. But you know what? I think I've shared this with you before. I haven't read any books since I started doing the blog almost a year ago. Isn't that crazy? None.
Well, you're writing one every day.
That's it. And I initially started out because I love reading. Pre-starting the blog, I would read. I'm a frequent library goer.
Frequent.
Because it got too expensive to keep my book habit up. Because I read them.
She has a real book habit. Like, I mean, like, so a book, like, she could, if she chose to, read through the Harry Potter series, Game of Thrones, whichever these long books are. It would probably take most people, like, if you're able to read nonstop and you're a fast reader, about a week, maybe, if you're like reading through the entire, not the entire series, but like one of the books. If she's unbothered, 2 days max is what I would say. Like, if you're able to like read and not be bothered.
And the thing is, I don't read fast just like as a competition.
No. But
I read because I'm like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Like, I have to know. And I read with comprehension, like not just
really quick.
Because then I'm like, well, why did he say that? Let me find out. Like, and I guess over time I have begun to just devour. But like I was saying, I have a real bad book habit. So that's another reason the series appealed to me. I have been thinking lately, maybe I should have become a librarian, but I don't think librarians necessarily have time to read a lot of books. Anyway, long story short, I love books. I love the written word. I love printed books. I am, you're right. I do write a book every day, seems like.
Yeah, you do.
Working on a book.
And the other thing is that's funny about this is we're thinking about these books. Like, she also makes me read faster. But again, apparently it's just a genetic thing. Comprehension is on a million. Like, I'm not like, me not understanding a word is gonna be real small of a chance because my context clues is all the way there. Like, I'm already like, okay, so this is what's happening. So expeditiously has to mean fast.
Right.
It just has to mean that. And we did that with the Hunger Games, which all those YA books are not really that long.
No, they're not.
Not really. Because I read the first one before the first movie came out in like 2 days or something on a Kindle.
Yeah. We read Maze Runner too, didn't we?
We did that right after. So we went Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Percy Jackson, which I just reread through and actually finished.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't finish it the last time.
I don't even remember what happened because it's been so long.
And Divergent, the Divergent series was the other one that we did.
Yeah. We like to torture ourselves. And the thing is, because I'm the faster reader, I always get to read first. So I don't have to wait for him to finish the book before I can go to the next
and as long as she reads first, it prompts me to read faster.
Right.
So then I read I want to say in about the same amount of time if I don't let myself get distracted.
Yeah, if he doesn't get distracted, but I'm always like, hey, bro, can't wait on you. I'm going to read it first, then pass off to you.
And I know I'm going to get it back within like the time that I want to read it. But
right.
That's so when you picked it, I was really like, this does seem like a Sarita thing.
It's me. This is me. This is little Sarita. Let's follow her journey. I really am interested. I want to see this all the way through. I should have my own special series where we go through this.
And I will not watch it until we're watching it together.
Yeah, I think it's great for us to
because I do get the thing that you're saying about us watching it together. So that way I'm learning the things with you, and I'm not like trying to. I know the things that would excite you.
Yeah, because you had me. Like, let me tell y'all this real quick. I know this is like, but he had me watch a video today. He's like, okay, watch the guy in the lower left hand corner the whole time. Just look at him, look at his face, and then at the end, it's like, boom, big reveal. Do you see what happened? Do you see what happened? Like. Just let me watch it, bro. Like,
man. It was just so good. Like, I can't help it because when I'm actually,
and that's why we need to watch it together, and that's why I have to read the books first
because I love it in the same way. Like, and I don't have as much couth as you.
Yeah, you don't mind spoiler alerts. I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
No, I don't mind them when you. Okay, so here's the thing. This is why I said she has more couth. So with the Hunger Games book, this is the only thing she said to me. You'll never be able to guess the ending in a million years. And I sat there and like every chapter, I am literally trying to figure out
what's going on.
Yeah. And like things are going normal. And then when I got to the end, I said, I Are you serious? Like, y'all have heard about my hate of the Hunger Games movie and just the general series on the podcast. It's like one of the thoroughfares that, like, if you hear me and you hear the words Hunger Games, you know what I'm about to say after. Trash.
I love the movies though.
I hate those things.
I love the movies. You have to separate them from the books because books are always books give you so much information. You have more backstory to pull from. If you had never read the book before you saw the movie, you would love the movie.
Oh, it'd be amazing because then I'd be able to be like, oh, I want you to be with Peter. It makes sense for you to be with Peter.
If you watch the movies, yes. But if you read the book,
I'm like,
what's going on here, guys?
You don't even like him. You never started to like him anywhere in this book.
What's going on here, guys? So, yeah. I love books, though, because books give you the opportunity to really go into character development. You only have a shorter period of time on the screen, but in the book, you get the everything. Meat of this character. So I'm excited to watch this series. We're going
to have this as a series. We have our anime rewind, which we're going to get back to. It's just with ReZero starting back, we want to be on that with this new season.
And this is one way to ensure that I really do get to experience the world of anime because, I tend to run. I'm very busy. But this is going to force me to slow down. And I really want to see how my story parallels with hers. Like, it's been great.
So this will be episode 1 of Teach Me Senpai tutor sessions.
Right.
Because it's basically us solving a problem together. Like, we're going to work through it and watch stuff, which is going to be really, really fun. And I'm excited to do it. So
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And letting me be on your show.
So yes, follow me on the Instagram at Gray Area Anime. On Twitter at Gray Area Anime 1. We have a Facebook, Gray Area Anime, and an email, also Gray Area Anime at gmail.com. So any suggestions, thoughts, send them over there. We'll see you guys next time. A 1 and a 2 and a peace.